Good evening. It's my pleasure to speak to you on behalf of other gardeners at the community gardens. And what we really wanted to do was take you on a tour of the garden, but it's not really ideal conditions for that at this time of year. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the community garden setup, here's a video of the community gardens that's in the back of the campus. You can see how the plots are lined out and maintained, and we're pretty self-sufficient. We work within the community garden gardeners to keep the weeds at bay, putting mulch down in the aisles. And this video is from the springtime. So a lot of the plots aren't fully grown yet. There are 37 garden plots for 24 families at this time. The UWO campus supplies the water, which we have a plumbing system that fills it into a water tank so that all of us can use as much water as we need for our particular crop. And if you listen closely, you can hear the killdeer that are frequent visitors back there. So what the community gardening means to me is sharing seeds and sharing knowledge. We also have a group meetings and have project days where we all come together and use our resources to do things like greenhouse therapy, composting, attracting pollinators. And here's the layout. So Bill, our coordinator, he keeps us all organized. He keeps this plot diagram and knows everybody that's in there. Keeps us all organized. He also puts together the various project meetings and collects all the rental fees. And we use the rental fees to go back into the garden. Like last year, we put in some additional fencing for the voles.
Good morning. It's the end of June in Wisconsin. I'm at the community garden. This is a really great example of the nasturtium flowers. They look like they're in full bloom right now, so they've enjoyed this wet weather. And they get a lot of sun in this space. And right next to it is some type of squash, which also seems to be flowering right now. That looks really great.
So what you're seeing here is something I enjoy doing at the garden, is creating videos and educational presentations like the one you're seeing right now. And I also do post some of them on YouTube so that people who can't come to the garden for whatever reason can enjoy it from home. Did anybody know what kind of plant that was? Because it was really amazing. Zucchini. Boy, that was like the best looking zucchini plant I have ever seen. And I don't grow vegetables, but I was just fascinated by it. Here's what I grow. I enjoy the zinnias, and they bring the pollinators. They bring the pollinators to the garden, so this is another way that we're creating another biodiverse a really good complex biodiversity within this little space by bringing pollinators to the vegetable gardeners. It's a really cool symbiotic relationship that even though we're not all knowing each other, we're helping each other out all in the same plot. I also grow a lot of chili peppers for the hotheads out there. And I also sell seeds online. So I'm into like the full circle of looking at the seedling stage and seed collection stage. And I'm creating educational videos and presentations like you're seeing today from that. I actually have 100 plants in my plot. And it's a 20 by 20 space between the zinnias and the peppers that I'm growing over 100 things. So you can imagine with 37 plots how many plants there must be growing in this space. So here are a few other videos where another thing to enjoy about the community garden is the wildlife. And watching the specifics about how the bees work. It's pretty fascinating to me. And what I'm doing is going from seed stage to harvesting seed stage and sharing all of those opportunities with other gardeners. And what I'm learning, we've all shared together. I think by, passing by, I've learned things about vegetable gardening just by observing other people's plots. Lastly, I'd like to say that this is a little piece of heaven here back in this corner that provides green space therapy and increases our longevity and pleasure of life. So thanks again for listening, and I do have an information sheet that Bill created that has some of the background about the gardens, and that'll be available in the back if you want to read them, or maybe take a picture and read more about the details about the garden when you're at home. And thanks again for your consideration, continued support.
Susan here. Yes. Oh, awesome. Next.
Yeah, I was just coming from rehearsal, so no one was sure if I was going to make it. Can anyone tell me who this is? Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. They did a whole bunch of shows. Tell me what their catchphrase was. I've got a barn. Hey kids, let's put on a show. My name is Susan Rabideau. I've been doing shows for the last 37 years, 23 of the last ones here at Fox. So I sat on a planning committee for 7 years as we developed the CAC, and I want to tell you a little bit about it in 5 minutes or less. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the 3 forward-facing spaces, not all the great support spaces. The CAC has 51,000 square feet of unique spaces. So those